Hello, hope you're having a great day. Now I'm doing things in a bit of a weird order in terms of this video because I'm actually talking to you now on Monday, and Monday is the day that I'm going to be releasing this video. I have already started filming another video of today which will be released tomorrow, but yeah, I didn't get a chance to pick up the camera yesterday, which was Sunday, so I thought I'd make a video now to talk you through my day yesterday, because like every day in my life, it was a day where there was plenty to analyse in terms of what's going on in my mind. And yeah, analysing my mind on a daily basis is a massive part of me living this new clean and healthy lifestyle, and ultimately a massive part of me staying clean from drink and drugs. Now yesterday morning, I actually got up at 6:30 in the morning instead of 7:30. I set my alarm early because we were going to a car meet, and you know what, it was quite, I don't want to say quite easy to get up, but I was able to battle my inherently lazy mind that I have every morning a lot easier. Now, I'm not saying that's not something to celebrate about and not something to feel good about, but I've always been able to get up earlier when it comes to car meets. So, you know, I'm not going to celebrate about it too much. It kind of doesn't count, right? You know, I don't want to be in this habit that most people are in, where you kind of justify your failures and almost unacknowledge your failures and then sort of justify that approach by celebrating certain wins that are easier anyway, if you know what I mean. So I don't want to sort of ignore the fact that lately I've been allowing my lazy mind to make excuses for me to not get up on time every day. I don't want to you know, ignore that just because I managed to get up earlier yesterday because of a car meet, when I know that getting up for car meets has always been easier for me. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I managed to get up at 6:30, as I say. I was in absolute agony yesterday, you know, from this injury that I've got in my neck. It's actually a lot better today, and it's a lot better now than it was when I woke up today, but I'll explain all about that in the video that you'll see on the channel tomorrow. But yeah, yesterday it was really bad. You know, I ended up dropping some painkillers like to get me out and about and, you know, to the car meet and stuff. And you know what, these car meets, they kind of highlight a weakness or a flaw, you know, in my personality, you could say. You know, I've mentioned before that naturally I am very introverted. I'm very, very socially awkward. Now, people that know me and maybe people that watch my videos might not find that very easy to believe. You know, I find it very easy to hide my introvertness, if that's a word, you know, when it comes to people that I know. You know, I'm now not that shy talking to a camera, although if I allow myself to think of it in a certain way, it is still very weird. But, you know, when I'm in a place where there's lots of strangers, yeah, I am very introverted. I'm very socially awkward. You know, it's always been really difficult for me to socialise, to, you know, talk to strangers, etc. You know, years ago when I was going out and actively trying to improve how social I am by watching certain videos on YouTube, you know, going out and trying to approach women, for instance, when I was single, you know, albeit doing that alone because I didn't really have many friends that wanted to go out all the time. They just wanted to sit in people's houses and get stoned. So, you know, it's always been a battle of mine, but, you know, one that I've been willing to try and solve, if you will, right? And having, you know, this sort of presence online and having people that enjoy watching my videos in the car community, people that want to meet me and stuff, you know, it's one of them things where it can either make things totally worse in terms of how introverted I am and how socially awkward I am, or I can use it as a tool and a reason to push me forward and help me improve that side of me, right? And that's what I try and do. You know, when I'm at these meets, you know, I do feel awkward. I feel very scared to even start waving my camera about, even though that is like my job nowadays. Admittedly, the videos that I do where I'm working on my cars seem to do better, so luckily, like, in a way. But yeah, like, I get to these meets and as I say, I'm very scared to, you know, I have to sort of give myself a kick up the arse to even persuade myself to start filming. Like, I have to remind myself, like, you know, if I get to the end of this car meet and I've been too scared to start filming, I'm gonna regret it. Like, I'm gonna feel like I've wasted the day, right? So yeah, you know, my sort of social awkwardness and my sort of shyness, if you will, is something that I'm still constantly trying to improve, constantly battling against, right? And it's funny because a lot of the time there's situations where people are too scared to come and talk to me. There was actually that exact thing happened yesterday, right? A couple of people, you know, because I posted on my social media the day before yesterday saying that I was going to go to this meet, a couple of people got in touch and said, oh yeah, it'd be great to meet you, love your videos, etc, etc. And you know, that makes me feel good that people want to meet me. Luckily, I'm not the kind of person that gets big-headed and stuff and thinks I'm a big I am, luckily, because, you know, on social media, if people like want to meet you all the time and they're kind of bigging you up, it can make you sort of be a bit big-headed. But I'm not like that at all, although I know certain people that used to watch these videos have accused me of being a narcissist just because I'm willing to openly talk about my opinions on certain things that don't you know, align with the masses, but I digress. So yeah, you know, people, you know, they get in touch and they sort of say, oh yeah, you know, I'm looking forward to meeting you, blah blah. And I'm always like, I see it as my job to make sure that I'm not making anyone feel uncomfortable in the same way that I feel uncomfortable in terms of meeting strangers, right? So I'm always like, yeah, definitely come and say hello. You know, I always make a point of saying, you know, even if I look busy with my camera, you know, feel free to come and say hello. Like, you know, don't be shy. Like, you know, I prioritise wanting to talk to my followers at these car meets. I sort of hold that more important than making a video, like, and I always make that clear. And then now and again, I'll get a message like the day after a meet, and you know, yesterday I got a message like in the evening after a meet saying, oh, you know, yeah, I did see you at the meet, but I was too nervous to come over and say hello. And it's like, I can relate to that because I am an introvert, I am socially awkward, like, and then, you know, it's another opportunity for me to sort of message them back and explain that. Like, that's exactly what I did yesterday. I explained to the guys, like, look, I totally understand, like, I'm socially awkward, I'm nervous, I'll probably be more nervous about talking to you than you will, like, you know, than you would have if you came over and said hello. And then, you know, it gives me an opportunity to, like, reassure these people, and I felt like I did that yesterday with this guy, and he sort of said, oh, you know, yeah, okay, cool, like, you know, next time hopefully I'll see you at a meet and I'll come over. And I'm always like, yeah, definitely come over, you know, I'm just a normal bloke, like. So it's funny how, you know, I use the fact that people want to meet me at these meets and stuff because they watch my videos as an opportunity for me to make improvements on my shyness, make improvements on my social awkwardness, and then, you know, as part of that, I'm kind of experiencing other people's shyness and social awkwardness in terms of wanting to come and speak to me because they just see me as this guy on YouTube, right? You know, I probably don't come across as shy as I actually am, like, on the videos, right? Because obviously I'm just talking to a camera and I've, you know, made hundreds and hundreds of videos, so I'm sort of getting better at it. So yeah, it's ironic how the car meets, you know, not only help me improve that sort of thing with me, but then I experience other people's discomfort, and then I get an opportunity to try and reassure them in those situations. And you know, sometimes I can sort of sense when someone is really sort of shy and socially awkward when they're talking to me, and then, like, in that situation, I just see it again as my job to try and make them feel more comfortable about the situation. And do you know what? It's kind of like a life hack, right? Because automatically, whilst I'm focusing on trying to make someone else feel more comfortable, you know, my shyness and my social awkwardness just isn't there anymore, right? Because, you know, I'm not focusing on it. I'm focusing on making someone else feel comfortable about their sort of shyness. And yeah, automatically it helps, you know, make my sort of shyness and social awkwardness go away. So, you know, it's another example of how helping other people, you know, really can help you. And it's an example of how a lot of these traits we have, like, that hold us back, they're not real. Like, it's just all in your head. Like, you know, my shyness and my social awkwardness is just a story that my mind tells me that it's learnt or that's based on my life experience. you know, like you're not born shy, you're not born like socially awkward. It's kind of taught and learned, right? And you know, anything that has been taught and learned can also be unlearned and overlearned, you know. So it's important to keep that in mind. Like, you know, don't fall into the trap of thinking, you know, using the same example, oh, I'm shy, I'm socially awkward, that's just the kind of guy I am, you know, and just live with it like as if it can't ever be changed. Like, that's nonsense, you know. You can always change who you are. Like, there's no such thing really as like a natural personality. Like, it's all just learned behaviour. Now, as it turned out, by the time we got back from the car meet yesterday, I didn't have much time before we then had to leave to go to my girlfriend Kat's parents for dinner, as we do, you know, most Sundays. Partly because I had my favourite car and, you know, at the meet, and I wanted to take that back to my other garage and then get this car and then bring this car home. And yeah, even though I sort of didn't start filming a video yesterday morning, I kind of had in my head that I could, you know, start filming a video yesterday afternoon after the car meet, and then that just didn't happen because I still had to edit the video that I put out yesterday before we left to go to Kat's parents. I only had like half an hour, like barely managed to do it. Had to finish doing it at Kat's parents. So yeah, that's why I thought, you know, I'll just film a video today explaining about yesterday. Another thing that was kind of interesting, on the way back from Kat's parents yesterday evening, I was kind of discussing this sort of other business venture that I'm gonna make a go of with Kat, you know, talking it through, and you know, any little sort of ideas we have, any plans we have, right? We're all dreamers, aren't we, right? And if you never dream, if you're not a dreamer at all, then, well, you never get anywhere in life. Obviously, if you're an utter dreamer and you don't take action, then, you know, that's the other end of the extreme, which is just as bad. But yeah, it was cool. Like yesterday, I was kind of talking through with Kat about it, and you know, we're sort of pinging ideas off each other, and yeah, it's just amazing how you can sort of like add fuel to the fire of you know, a good idea just by sort of relaying ideas and bouncing ideas back against someone else. Now, I'm someone that does all my business stuff all on my own. You know, Kat helps me like with my other channel about my cars and stuff. You know, she helps me massively, like dealing with merchandise, and helps me with the accounts, which should be once a month, but we kind of put it off for a few months. So yeah, she helps me massively, but I do everything on my own. And I watch a lot of these videos about, you know, people who have made it big, you know, millionaires and billionaires, and you know, ultimately you can't make it super big without building a team, like whether it be employing people, whether it be going into partnership with people. And you know, I don't really have that. Like, I don't really have, it's not like I have a load of friends that I grew up with that are really into doing the stuff that I do. Like a lot of the things I do, I've had to sort of like turn myself into a recluse to even start doing them, right? So, you know, I'm lucky in a way that I've got Kat there to like bounce ideas off of, and it was awesome. You know, I was just sort of like talking out loud these plans that I've got, and sort of little plans that I've got to do with the bigger plan, if you know what I mean. Kind of hard to explain what I mean without telling you what this business venture is, but I don't like to talk about, you know, I don't like to reveal something that doesn't exist yet. So yeah, it's just making me feel really positive about it. Now, I've got to be careful not to be, you know, an utter dreamer where you're just talking and dreaming without taking action. But you know, sometimes there's sort of things you can do that are sort of taking a step in the direction of whatever idea you've got, right? You know, it's very easy for us to sort of sit back and not take any action towards something we want to do until we're ready, right? And ultimately, you're never ready. You know, I've said before that I've had a few friends over the years that have said, yeah, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, right? And it's like, all right, great. So have you started filming a new video yet? Oh, no, I'm not going to start filming yet. I'm going to wait until I've got a good camera. I'm going to wait until I'm good at editing. I'm going to wait until I've got something interesting to film. You know, I'm going to wait until I've got more time. I'm going to wait until I've got more money. I'm going to wait until this. I'm going to wait until that. And lo and behold, those people never, ever find the right time. Whereas, you know, if you want to start making YouTube videos, just start filming something. Your first however many videos are not going to get any views anyway, so you may as well just film something, start the ball rolling, get into the habit of making videos, start learning about editing, you know, like that, rather than being someone who's like waiting for the right moment, right? And yesterday, while I was bouncing ideas off of Kat, I sort of come up with a couple of ideas which I can basically do right now, which are going to be stepping towards the main idea, which requires a little bit of time and money put into it first before it can launch, essentially. And doing those couple of little steps, which, you know, I'm probably going to sit down and get up and running tomorrow or the next day, probably, right? And, you know, doing those couple of things is going to like set the ball rolling, and it's probably going to make the sort of main launch of this thing more likely to happen, right? Just because you're taking baby steps, you're getting into the motion of it. In fact, you know, me being unfit to get out and about and do stuff the other day, and me not wanting to waste a day, was what gave me an opportunity to start the ball rolling with some of the research and the behind the scenes stuff that I needed to do before I could even realistically think about launching this thing. So that's another example where, you know, I have kind of been waiting until I've got time, until I've got the money that I need to put into the things that I need to actually start this thing. You know, I have been guilty of waiting for the right time, and then, you know, lo and behold, when I think it was when the pain first started in my neck, like, and I didn't want to just waste the day and stay in bed. So then it was like, right, what can I do? And it's like, oh, okay, I can start doing some research about this thing that I want to do. You know, part of my mind was thinking, oh, it's still a waste of a day because I'll be better off going out and you know, working on the cars or whatever. But because that wasn't happening, because I was in so much pain, I then spent the day doing this research, and, you know, that has, you know, been part of leading me up to me having the conversation with Kat yesterday, for instance. And then that conversation with Kat is what's kind of nudged me in the direction of me in the next couple of days doing these couple of things that I can do right now, where I don't have to wait, which is then going to be another step towards, you know, doing, ultimately launching this thing properly. So, you know, I'm in a way better situation now than I was before I started taking these baby steps, even though I'm kind of still waiting until I've, you know, got round to raising the money and putting in place the actual things I need to launch this thing properly. So I hope that makes sense. You know, if you're sort of catching yourself, you know, you've got something in the future you want to do, you know, some things do take time. Some things, you know, you do need to, like, I don't want to say wait for the right time, but sometimes, you know, you can't do what you want to do right now. You know, there are sort of things that need to happen first, okay? Yeah, that's fine, right? But if there are any steps that you can take right now, even if they seem like token steps, you know, that you can do in the meantime, then do them. Like, just so that you're getting yourself into the habit of taking action, you know. Don't allow yourself to think that those little steps are meaningless. You know that can just be your mind trying to persuade you to wait for the right time, you know. So yeah, that was another sort of interesting conversation that me and Kat had, and yeah, I'm just grateful to have someone in my life that is so supportive and so positive. You know, we are very different people. We don't complete each other. A lot of people say that, you know, they would be incomplete without their partner. No, that's not the case. We're both whole, separate, very different people that, you know, when we're together, we improve each other's lives, and that's the way a relationship should be. But look, this video has already been quite long, and I just wanted to talk you through, you know, what happened yesterday. There's always stuff going on in my mind, stuff that I'm learning from about my mind on a daily basis, and that's because I'm willing to analyse my mind every day, rather than just, you know, be a feather in the wind and just get dragged along by my mind and by life, by the matrix, by society. You know, I'm grateful to be that weird kind of person that does sit here and analyse what's going on in my head and learn from it. And, you know, I'm grateful to be in a position where there's a few people in the world that watch these videos and find them helpful. It's all about listening to other people, you know, listening to yourself, and ultimately just trying to turn yourself into the best person that you can You know, that's a big part of me staying clean from drink and drugs. You know, but I've said before, you know, being clean from drink and drugs isn't my main priority anymore. My main priority is to turn myself into the strongest human being that I can, physically, mentally, spiritually, and then everything that comes along with that. You know, working out, analysing what's going on in my mind, learning stuff on YouTube, you know, being willing to share anything that I can that might help other people, you know, eating healthily-ish, and then automatically, you know, not taking drugs, not drinking alcohol, etc, etc. So look, I'm going to end this video here. Finally just got through all that traffic near my house, and now I can actually make my way over to the other garage to work on my car. But yeah, massive thanks as always to everyone who's tuned in. I hope this has been somewhat helpful or motivational. I'll be back for another video tomorrow where you can follow me on my day. Until then, feel free to say hello in the comments and we'll have a chat, or if you prefer, get in touch with me more privately through Facebook, Instagram or email. But other than that, I'll chat to you tomorrow.